Hello and welcome to Beautifully Balanced. Health and happiness aren't found in a bottle of prescription pills or with any fad diet. Instead, we can activate your body's natural ability to heal itself. And that is exactly what we're going to do together here. I'm Sarah Teeple, a women's integrative health practitioner, and I blend the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda with the modern science of functional medicine to help you heal your gut, rebalance your hormones, and calm anxiety naturally. Here I'll teach you the smart, sustainable, personalized, and fun way to use nutrition, herbs, and healthy lifestyle to feel vibrant, energized, and beautiful inside and out. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to Beautifully Balanced. If you are here, it is no accident. It's because you're ready to understand and love your body on a deep level and practice a new kind of holistic healthcare, mind, body, spirit healthcare. And that is what this episode is all about. I'm so excited about our episode today. This episode today is all about getting to the root cause of your issues instead of just band-aiding the symptoms. So this episode is a must listen for you if you have hormonal issues like severe PMS symptoms, infertility, endometriosis, PCOS, or you're entering perimenopause or menopause. This is also a must listen if you've got any autoimmune or thyroid condition. These are things like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, psoriasis, hypothyroid or Hashimoto's, and even if you have digestive issues like heartburn, GERD, constipation, or IBS. You're going to learn so much in this episode about truly healing on a deeper level instead of just band-aiding your symptoms. So just to reintroduce myself, I'm Sarah Teeple. I'm a medical board certified Ayurvedic counselor and a master certified holistic nutrition coach. And this is the approach that I use with my clients, and I want to share it with you today. So my approach is all about blending Eastern and Western medicine. The Eastern medicine is Ayurveda. It's a 5,000-year-old Indian system of healing. Western medical approach is functional medicine, and functional medicine is what we're going to be diving into, but I'm going to really simplify it and make it digestible and understandable for you so you can understand how you can utilize this in your day-to-day life with your healthcare to really understand your conditions and symptoms and address them on a deeper level. So I like to think of our bodies as big, beautiful trees, or really all kinds of different trees. You could be a big, sturdy oak tree or a little delicate dogwood tree, all kinds of different trees. They're all beautiful. But the point here is that we're looking at the entire ecosystem of our body. So our Western healthcare system tends to just put Band-Aids on our symptoms in the form of pharmaceutical medications, pills, surgeries, creams, and not really understanding the deeper aspect of what's going on. So that would be just like treating the leaves of a diseased tree. And what we want to do instead is look at the roots of the tree, look at the soil, look at the foundation of the ecosystem that is driving your symptoms, that is driving your condition, that is keeping you in a chronic state of bad health. So this is all about finding those root causes. And the benefits of finding those root causes are that you're not only going to heal on a deeper level and understand your body more, but in the process, you're going to experience benefits you never even dreamed of. You're going to optimize your digestion and metabolism, have more energy, have better moods, focus, and clarity. And this is because when we treat that soil, it's not just that little diseased leaf of the tree that's going to get fixed. It's going to have healthier bark, a stronger trunk, more sturdy branches. So we treat the entire tree. We treat your entire human ecosystem. We're treating you as a whole person, mind, body, and spirit, full three-dimensional perspective. So important. When we do this, not just your symptoms, your main symptoms get better, but everything gets better. Mood, energy, your life. So this episode is pretty densely packed with information. So I'm actually going to break up these root causes into 2 episodes. This first episode, we're going to go over root causes 1 through 5, and I'll list all 9 here in a little bit. But for today, we're just going to go over the first 1 through 5. And then we'll revisit next week and go over the rest of them. Now, you might want to grab a notebook and jot down any of these root causes that apply to you. That will go a long way in you creating your own holistic healthcare plan, which is what I want to help you do. If you're driving and you don't have the opportunity to write something down, just try to take a mental note and remember. And we'll put all the pieces together for you slowly but surely over the course of the show. So there's a quote I want to share by my Ayurvedic teacher and mentor, Dr. Vasant Lad. And he says that when we medicate away symptoms instead of treating the root cause, we complicate or worsen a condition instead of healing it. And this is what is chronically happening in our Western allopathic healthcare system, especially for women. We're slapping a prescription, giving a bottle of pills, suggesting a surgery that may not even be the only option. Women historically here, our symptoms are often not taken seriously. We're often overprescribed medications with harmful side effects, and we're not really listened to. And I wonder, have you ever had this experience at your doctor? You feel like you're called into the exam room. They've just given a 2-second cursory look over of the information that you just provided. They've not even looked at your chart for your most recent blood work, for your medical history. And then you try to explain what's going on with you, and it's only partially listened to and not really taken seriously. So then you're given some prescription following an interaction that you don't really feel like was a deep, meaningful interaction where you were really listened to. So there is a better way. And in my decade-long health journey, my personal journey, I was prescribed many medications along the way, which I opted not to take because of this exact issue. And because even before I found Ayurveda and functional medicine, I knew that that was not the only answer. On a gut level, I knew that the anti-anxiety medications that I was prescribed weren't going to really get to the root of my nervous system dysregulation, or weren't really going to help me treat my PTSD in a deeper, more meaningful way. I knew that the synthetic hormones that I was given when I was having fertility issues and no period for years, I knew that those weren't going to address the root cause of my hormonal issues. I knew that the laxatives and then the heartburn medication that I was given weren't going to really cure my digestive issues, and that the migraine medication that I was prescribed was not going to really address the stress, the food sensitivities, and the other things that were at the root of my migraines. Likewise, in my decade of clinical practice of treating clients with digestive issues, IBS, constipation, autoimmune conditions, hormonal issues, they feel like their primary care practitioner and even their specialists don't have a really deep understanding of the why behind their conditions and their symptoms. They feel like no one has put together the pieces, solved the puzzle, or has the big picture in mind. And that is exactly what having a roots cause approach will allow us to understand on a deeper level. So now I'm going to tell you what these 9 main root causes are. We're going to go into each one in a little more detail, as well as giving some telltale signs and symptoms. If you have one of these root causes, these are some of the things you may be experiencing. And then we're going to start to give some solutions. The first of the 9 main root causes is stress hormone overdrive. Number 2 is stress hormone exhaustion. Number 3 is thyroid issues. 4, mental and emotional stress. 5, gut dysfunction. 6, food triggers and nutrient gaps. 7, blood sugar imbalances. 8, toxic overload. And 9, stealth infections. The first of our root causes is all too common, and this is stress hormone overdrive. So when you're in stress hormone overdrive, you have an unhealthy or overactive cortisol response. Also, your nervous system is just literally overactive, kind of like a live wire. So you can go from fine, not stressed out at all, to really overwhelmed, anxious, and overly stressed very quickly. Some of the symptoms of stress hormone overdrive are things like jumping at loud noises, waking up in the middle of the night, irregular menstrual cycles, or PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, having trouble with gaining weight, especially around your middle, aka the muffin top, having IBS, having high blood sugar, or having an autoimmune condition. So if you've got any of these, if you check any of these boxes, it's really likely that you're in stress hormone, or also known as adrenal overdrive. So adrenaline and cortisol are pumping through your system, keeping you in fight or flight, driving and perpetuating your anxiety and your stress. And so some of the things that we can do about stress hormone overdrive to address this root cause at a deeper level, instead of just taking an anti-anxiety med to medicate away your emotions and your stress, we can look at a blood sugar balancing diet. We can introduce wonderful adaptogenic herbs. And adaptogens are in this sort of almost magical class of herbs that really rebalance your nervous system at a deep level, and they really regulate your cortisol response. So they restore a healthy cortisol response in your body. So those are just a couple of the many things that we can do to address stress hormone overdrive. Another is teaching simple meditation and relaxation techniques, using certain essential oils like lavender that can calm and soothe the nervous system. So lots of wonderful things we can do to address this first and probably most common root cause, stress hormone overdrive. Our second root cause, number 2, is the flip side of the coin of stress hormone issues, and that's stress hormone exhaustion. Often this occurs after you've been in stress hormone overdrive for a really long time. Your system gets worn out, your adrenal and adrenaline response and cortisol response just get worn out. And then you feel like you can't produce enough of those stress and energy hormones. So, with adrenaline and cortisol, we kind of think of them as bad things. But when our body produces them in a good balance, these are actually the hormones that give us good energy. So they're not our enemies. We just want to have a balanced body state of equilibrium where we're producing and utilizing these stress or energy hormones in an efficient way at the right times of the day. And this is where Ayurveda and Ayurvedic daily practices really come in handy. Many of us are experiencing stress hormone exhaustion, especially women in our culture. And we can experience stress hormone overdrive and stress hormone exhaustion at the same time. And many of us actually do. So some of the symptoms of stress hormone exhaustion are literally just feeling exhausted, feeling kind of burnt out or fried or just depleted. Waking up around 3 or 4 a.m. and having a hard time falling back asleep. Having irregular menstrual cycles, having a very low or no sex drive, having an autoimmune disease, feeling mentally foggy or like your memory just isn't what it used to be, or having been diagnosed with something like chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia. Those are all symptoms that may indicate that we're in stress hormone exhaustion. So instead of medicating away this exhaustion with a prescription pill, or even self-medicating with things like more coffee or more sugar, which is essentially a way to ignore the messages that your body is giving you and just kind of push through anyway, which may actually worsen or intensify your stress hormone exhaustion. We want to look at lasting solutions to healing stress hormone exhaustion. So we want to look at things like micronutrient gaps. Are you getting the adequate nutrition to give the cells of your body the energy that they need to get you through your day? So is there some kind of vitamin or mineral deficiency? We want to look at nourishing the body on a deep level, sometimes with adrenal and cortisol response healing herbs. So again, those adaptogenic herbs. Some have a really powerful and unique ability to both soothe your nervous system and calm you, but while also bolstering your energy. So one of these is an Ayurvedic herb that I absolutely love called ashwagandha. There are also some wonderful medicinal mushrooms that have this ability. So some things like reishi and other medicinal mushrooms. But you really want to work with a trusted and experienced practitioner before you just start taking herbs or any other kinds of supplements like that, because you want to make sure they're not contraindicated with any medications you might be on. Number 3 is thyroid issues. So thyroid issues, and especially hypothyroid, so an underactive thyroid. So common for so many women today, as is Hashimoto's, which is basically when your hypothyroid becomes even more of an autoimmune response, and it just makes things a little more challenging to address. Some common symptoms and indications that you might have thyroid issues are feeling sluggish, fatigued, low energy, even feeling heaviness in your limbs, having trouble losing weight, gaining weight in the past few months or even, the past few years, and just not knowing why. Nothing's changed, or maybe you've even upped your exercise and tried to eat a healthy diet, but just gaining weight and you don't really know why. Having sluggish bowels, feeling depressed or a lost kind of sense of enjoyment in your life, having a lower body temperature, craving sugar and carbs, having puffiness around your eyes or having kind of a puffy face, and numbness or tingling in hands and feet. Those and several other things can be indications that you've got an underlying thyroid issue. So there again, instead of just medicating away these symptoms, we want to understand what is driving those thyroid issues and thyroid symptoms. Common drivers are things like micronutrient gaps that we just talked about. Are you getting the right nourishment to convert those thyroid hormones into usable energy? So sometimes we'll actually get thyroid testing. We'll get a thyroid panel done, and our TSH and T3 and T4, and there are many variations of these different thyroid compounds that we measure. But sometimes those numbers will look normal. And so your PCP or even your endocrinologist might say, no, you don't really have an issue. But in functional medicine, there is something that we call a subclinical hypothyroid or thyroid issues, which just means that those levels might be within the normal reference range, but they're not optimal for you. Also, you could have a situation, and this is tied back into nutrient deficiencies or just malnutrition. You could have a situation where you're producing adequate amounts of these thyroid hormones, but you don't have the right nutrition to convert those hormones into usable energy. So again, we want to look at the nutrition. We want to look at your sleep schedule. We want to look at your self-care practices. We want to look at blood sugar imbalances or what we can do to balance that blood sugar. And as you might guess, microbiome imbalances are all too common, as are our other root causes that we discussed today. So we're going to press pause here and pick back up on the rest of our root causes next week. But just to recap, today we went over stress hormone overdrive, stress hormone exhaustion, thyroid issues, mental and emotional stress, and gut disruption. Next week, we're going to pick back up with root causes 6 through 9. And those are nutrient gaps, blood sugar imbalance, environmental toxins, and stealth infections. And these last few root causes are also such common underlying factors in everything from diabetes to hormonal issues to insomnia, weight gain, certain types of cancers, and more. So you'll definitely want to join us next week and tune back in for that episode. Thank you for being here with me today. Remember, you can feel your best naturally. Just try one new thing a week that you learn here and watch your body and life transform. And if you're ready to take this to the next level, learn your dosha, get your personalized holistic plan, and live beautifully balanced, you've got to come see me at sarahteeple.com. That's SARAHTEEPLE.com. There you can learn about how to work with me one-on-one or book a free holistic chat and just tell me what you're working on. I love to hear from you and help you live your best life. So until next time, be well. Oh, and if you love this conversation, please rate and review our podcast. That really helps more people find natural healthcare options. Thanks again, and see you soon.